Re-
Hello, welcome to day 485. Only 15 days left. Can you believe it? I had to double check today just to make sure I was on the right day. I was like, how could it be 485? But it is. So what I'm going to do, of course, is review some of what we went through in Nti Revelation this week. Again, I think Nti Revelation is really deep and really helpful, and I won't have time to cover it as well as I'd like to, but I will try and hit some of the highlights. I'm going to start in Nti Revelation Chapter 7. This week, we focused on the last of the 12 lessons in Nti Revelation Chapter 7. That was 10, 11, and 12. So 10 says, fantasy is spun within the thinking mind. By allowing the thinking mind to spin, you choose fantasy. By allowing the thinking mind to rest, you choose truth. And that's a really important lesson. So if there's something that seems to be going on in my life, or something that seems to be going on in the world, and I'm letting my mind think about it and worry about it and think about it and judge it and think about it, right? I'm choosing the ego's illusion. I'm choosing the illusion of the world. In fact, through the third principle of God, the creative principle, I'm actually helping to create the ego's illusion, helping to create the illusion of the world. When we choose to rest the mind, the superconductor process or the rest, accept, and trust process, we are actually choosing truth over illusion. That's how important that superconductor process or that rest, accept, and trust process is. That's not only how we heal our own ego, but it's also how we heal the world. Or said another way, it's not only how we let go of our own ego, but it's also how we let go of the ego's illusion. Number 11, everything that you experience is love. There is not one exception to this statement. If you believe you look on that which is not love, you are misperceiving. To see and know love as it is, let go of your misperception. This weekend, we listened to 2 audios. I always want to call it, Is Attack Possible? I don't think that was the actual title, though. Is Attack Real? I think it was the actual title. Is Attack Real, Part 1, and Is Attack Real, Part 2. And there was a sentence that was given to me when that message came. And the sentence was, love is giving to spirit, through spirit, that which spirit requests. Love is giving to spirit, through spirit, that which spirit requests. And that means whatever we're allowing our attention to focus on, the universe is going to give us in some way, right? We're going to have the emotional experience of it. We're going to see perceptions of it. What I think, I see. What I see, I experience. What I experience, I think. It's a loop that just keeps going around and around and around. What this is saying is that if I look out there and I see something and I don't feel love as I look at it, right? I don't feel peace as I look at it. I don't feel completely content and undisturbed as I look at it. Then that's because there's an idea in my mind that I need to see. There's an idea in my mind that needs to be purified. And instead of believing that that thing that I am looking at or this circumstance that I'm experiencing is bad, shouldn't be, needs to change, etc., I'm much better off to go within, to take that and go within, possibly through journaling, and look to see what idea it's triggering in me that I believe, and then give my willingness to let go of that idea, because only my misperception could cause me to know an experience other than love. So everything that you experience is love. There is not one exception to that statement, not one. If you believe you look on that which is not love, you are misperceiving. To see and to know love as a direct experience, to see and to know love as it is. Let go of your misperception. Right? That's our job. And then number 12, oneness is all that is true now. In fact, that's what that statement points to. Love is giving to spirit, through spirit, that which spirit requests. It's all spirit, or it's all consciousness, or it's all one, right? Oneness is all that is true now. The belief in separation has always been false. So anything that is seen through the lens of that belief must be false also. There is not one exception to this statement. And if we have faith in these learnings, these teachings that we've gotten from NTI, then whenever we are seeing separation, again, we're going to go within ourselves to try and find the misperception in our mind, because what we really want is to be healed. We want to see only love. We want to know the oneness. We want to know ourselves as part of the oneness, right? Or as the oneness itself. So those are the 12 lessons that NTI has taught us, and they're, I think, very valuable lessons. I'm going to jump ahead now to Nti Revelation Chapter 16, which is where we started reading this week, starting with verses 1 to 6. It is time to be quiet and still the mind. Within the stillness, there is a rustling. And this is an experience that you probably have during meditation, right? During meditation, it's very possible when you're going in for the awareness, watching awareness, or the loving consciousness method of meditation, it's very possible that as you sit there, you know the stillness, right? You know the stillness while you're in meditation, and yet there's the thoughts going by too. So that's the rustling, right? That's the rustling. So it is time to be quiet and still the mind. Within the stillness, there is a rustling. But what you hear and feel is the rustling of illusion. Still the mind in faith that the rustling is illusion. Let the rustling rustle. In other words, it's not your job to try and control the thoughts or stop the thoughts. Let the rustling rustle, but hold only to the thought of stillness, or hold only to awareness of awareness, or hold only to loving consciousness, or hold only to focusing on being, right? So while this other stuff is going on, you hold on to the goal of the meditation. Be still. In this way, you do not acknowledge illusion. When our attention goes after those thoughts and we start thinking with those thoughts, we're acknowledging illusion as if it's true, important, meaningful, valuable. But when we stay focusing on awareness, focusing on isness, focusing on beingness, loving consciousness, while all this is going on, we aren't giving it value. That's what's really important. So be still. In this way, you do not acknowledge illusion. In this way, you do not acknowledge it as true. In this way, you do nothing. And nothing is the acknowledgement that nothing is due. Skipping down to verses 12 to 14. Your belief comes from your faith. When you notice a belief in illusions, ask where your faith is now. And you might remember, maybe not, but in NTI Hebrews, we learned that desire is a component of faith. So look what NTI Revelation says next. Faith comes from desire. You know your true desire now, right? You know you want to awaken. You know you want to realize self. You know you want to be only love. You know you want to know thy true self. You know your true desire now. In questioning your faith, which means inquire into your faith, you remember your desire. In remembering desire, you loosen your grip on belief. So what this means is if there's some kind of a a thought arising. Maybe it's a thought that there's this thing I'm responsible for at work that's not going real well, and I'm trying to figure it all out. My mind is spinning on it when I'm in the shower. My mind is spinning on it while I'm eating. My mind is spinning on it while I'm driving, right? This is saying, ask yourself, what am I putting my faith in right now? What's going on? Why is my attention so absorbed in this problem, even when I'm not at work dealing with it, right? And you might find something like, well, there's this belief that if I can't resolve this, if I can't be successful, that everybody's going to see what a loser I am. You can go, look at me. I'm putting faith in the fact that I'm a loser. Look at me. I'm putting faith in my unworthiness. And then with that awareness, you can say, okay, what do I desire? Do I desire to continue to defend the belief that I'm unworthy? Or do I desire to be healed of this belief? Or do I desire to know the true self? Or do I desire to know the truth? Whatever question feels appropriate for you. And what this is saying is, when you shift from that hidden desire to this desire to know thyself, this desire for truth, you'll then be able to lose interest in thinking about this problem at times when, it's not right in front of you, when you're not dealing with it, right? You'll be able to let go of that spinning mind. So asking, what am I putting faith in now? Or even, what am I desiring now? Like sometimes if somebody's talking a lot and you're sitting there judging the heck out of them, I wish they'd shut up. I have somewhere to go. What am I desiring now? I'm desiring for this person to shut up. Is that what I really want? No, I don't want this person to shut up. I want to awaken. I want to know the truth. I want to be only love. Then you can let go of your impatience. So always looking at yourself and questioning yourself. What's going on with me? Is that what I really want? That keeps you on the straight and narrow path towards truth. I'm moving to Nti Revelation Chapter 17. Underneath verses 3-6 at sentence 6. The prostitute sitting on the beast, of course, this is referring to an image in the Bible. The prostitute sitting on the beast represents illusion, sitting on the belief that supports it. It is this foundation that you must look at now. Turn your eyes from the glitter and distractions of the illusion and look at the beast on which it sits. The beast, as you can clearly see, is the belief in individual separateness. This is sometimes called the I thought. This is the I, the subject in thought, not the true subject, which is awareness, but the I, the subject of thought. Thought is always thinking about me, how I look to others. What am I going to do? Why in the world did I do that? I, right? And this of course is the false self, the I in thought. And the I in thought is what holds the ego's illusion together. In fact, it is the ego. And so what this is saying is, when we're going through the purification process, although we may purify other ideas first, like some of the ideas that I purified first were the belief in betrayal, the belief in rejection, the belief in attack, the I am bad belief, the unworthiness belief. I purified all of these ideas first. But what this is saying is, eventually you're going to have to get to that core belief that all of the other beliefs grow out of. All thinking is about I. How can I be unworthy unless there's an I? How can I be unsafe unless there's an I? How can I be rejected, or I be attacked, or I attack others unless there's an I, right? So eventually you need to turn your clarity to that I and start questioning, what am I? Of course, this is self-inquiry. And in effect, even if you're not asking that question, this is what you're doing when you're in awareness, watching awareness, or loving consciousness meditation. You are ignoring thought, which means you are ignoring the I in thought. And you are turning your attention to that silent I. And you're noticing, this is what I really am, right? The thoughts come, the thoughts go. The stories change day by day. But this spaciousness that those thoughts are passing through, that's what I am. So turning your attention to the true self is self-inquiry. And so this Nti Revelation is telling us eventually you have to turn your attention to self-inquiry. Eventually you have to start questioning, what am I? Also, what am I not, right? I am not those thoughts, right? What am I? And as I've mentioned, all thinking is based on the I thought, all thinking, and you can watch it and you can see how it's just I this, I that, my thoughts on this, I believe this, just I. But then you can also ask, what sees? What's aware of these thoughts? What sees these thoughts? What's aware of these thoughts? If there's feelings, what sees these feelings? What's aware of these feelings? Look and see what you really are. There was also another interesting statement in Nti Revelation Chapter 18, underneath verses 4-8, starting at sentence 3. It says, what shall you give to illusion? Which you suddenly realize is not real. I would say even before you realize it's not real. It says, you shall give it that which it is. And that is the love due heaven. This is the loving all method that we've learned about. So here we have Nti Revelation recommending that we practice loving everything, right? We want to love the heaven that's in it, regardless of what it looks like. And of course, as you'll remember from the loving all method, if you can't love it, you can accept it, accept that it is present, right? You can accept its presence, its appearance. And if you find you can't even accept it, then you go into the emotionally allowing it, which again is the superconductor process, the rest, accept, and trust process. So this is what Nti Revelation is recommending. If we skip on over to Nti Revelation Chapter 19, underneath verses 1 and 2 at sentence 3, it says, illusion is seeing what is as if it is what isn't. Yeah, we call this the ego's illusion. The ego's illusion is seeing separation, seeing attack, seeing guilt, seeing unworthiness, seeing things that are fearful, seeing things that are hateful, cruel. This is the ego's illusion, mixed in with some stuff that's beautiful. You might remember from Nti Galatians that it said the Son of God would not tolerate just separation. So there's also things in this world that we feel like we can join with. That way we'll keep playing this game, right? So they're both here. But what we aren't seeing is that it's all God, that it's all consciousness, that it's all beauty, right? We aren't seeing that. And so it is what it is. It's all light, it's all love, but we're seeing a myriad of other things. So illusion is seeing what it is here, now. Illusion is seeing what is as if it is what it isn't, as if it's something else. And then sentence 7 says, illusion is seen through the thinking mind. Now we know how we see what is as if it's something else. Illusion is seen through the thinking mind, which judges, right? Judgment, and interprets, interpretation, upon based false premises. I think that should be different. I don't like the way that is. I think he should have done this instead of that. Oh, no, I like that. I like that just the way it is. I hope it never changes, right? Illusion is seen through the thinking mind, which is the I thought. Illusion is seen through the thinking mind, which judges and interprets based upon false premises. Illusion is gone when the thinking mind is disengaged by the one who desires to see through spirit, or see through the true self, see through unity consciousness, see through oneness, right? This is how we see what's really here. Let's see that. I'm skipping on over to verses 11 to 16. This again is emphasizing the importance of our spiritual aspiration, the importance of our true desire. It says, true desire must lead in the last days of the thinking mind. For the thinking mind will try to disguise itself as true desire. What does that mean? That means that the thinking mind may try and get us to think, oh, I'm already enlightened. I'm already awake, right? In a self-satisfaction kind of way, so that we don't finish the job. And it's saying you need to watch out for this. This is common. This is not uncommon. This is common. As you are getting closer and closer and closer to the death of the ego, closer and closer and closer to that I dropping away forever, so that you are the truth and know the truth, right? As a direct experience, the ego is going to try and make you think, oh, I'm already there. So true desire must lead in the last days of the thinking mind. For the thinking mind will try to disguise itself as true desire. For this, you must remain on watch. True desire is known. Here's how to tell the difference between true desire and the one that's faking true desire. True desire is known by its desire for only one thing. True desire does not desire within the world. True desire does not desire to test itself. True desire desires only this, to know thyself. I was reading a book this morning. Let me just show you the book I was reading. So I really think it fits with everything here. Oh, pardon the sun coming in through the window. All right, I'm back. I disappeared for a moment, but I'm back. Okay, this is The Path to Know Self by Bernadette Roberts. And this morning when I was reading in this book, she was talking about how just before her eye dropped away, right? Just before her eye dropped away, what rose up in her was all of these powerful energies, like the ability to see the future, the ability to heal. I can't remember which other powerful energies she saw, but she says that there was something in her, an intuition in her that somehow knew these energies weren't pure. They look very holy, right? Jesus healed, Jesus raised the dead, right? It all looks very, very holy. But she says she knew that it wasn't pure. And one way that she knew that it wasn't pure was because it's outward going focus, this healing others, helping others, this outward going focus. And so what she chose to do was to let go of these energies. And when she let go of these energies, that's when her eye fell away. That was like the final ego trying to get her to be the slave to the ego. It's a wonderful thing to read if you want to get this book. I love this book, but it would be in the section called Phase 6, which starts on page 165. That's where you would read about this last ego challenge, right? Wonderful, wonderful. But this is what Nti is talking about, right? Nti says, if this energy comes up, oh, I want to heal others. Oh, I want to raise the dead, right? These special powers show up. Wait a minute, is that I want to know thyself? No. It says the way you can tell the true desire, the one that's leading you to awakening, is it wants only one thing, right? So anything else, and these are the kinds of tests that show up towards the end, especially anything else needs to be let go. So true desire is known by its desire for only one thing. True desire does not desire within the world. True desire does not desire to test itself. True desire desires only this, to know thyself. It also says true desire never leads to a role that is satisfactory to the self. And in this book, Bernadette Roberts talks about that as well. It's a great book. She talks about what she calls selfless giving. But selfless giving is giving that is never giving the self satisfaction. It's never satisfactory to the self. So if you're looking for something to do when you end the 500 days, one of the things you might do, I'll have some other suggestions at the end, but one of the things you might do is go read this book. It's a great book. The only way to pass through the tests of the thinking mind without being led astray by false desire is to remain fully focused on true desire now. And you'll see Bernadette Roberts does that. There is no other way. This may seem to be a time of sadness, for you will be asked to let go of that which you still hold faith in. This may seem to be a time of fear. Remain quiet and trust, focused on your true desire, and you will sail through the thinking mind's tortures on the wings of faith and truth. So this is not lying to us. This is telling us there are going to be some difficult times in the awakening process. And Bernadette doesn't lie about that either. But if we stay focused on our true desire, we move through those difficult times more easily, right? It's the true desire. It's the willingness that is our friend, right? It's the resistance and all of the other desires that cause us all kinds of trouble. So that's kind of my summary of the last week. I hope I said something helpful. We're now going into one of our final weeks, not the final week yet. We really have 2 weeks left. But this week we will finish Nti Revelation. The special assignment this week is you'll get to hear people practicing looking at false beliefs. So that's the audio that you'll listen to. I think it's very appropriate to go along with Nti Revelation. And then we're going to begin a review. We'll be spending the last week or so, last week and a half, in a review of some primary teachings from Nti. We're going to look at Nti Matthew chapter 13 again this week. We're also going to look at Nti Luke chapter 6, or start looking at Luke chapter 6 this week. We'll finish that up next week. And then we'll go into Nti Luke 12 after that. And then there's some other things that we'll look at, which I'll talk about next week when I return. So really only 2 weeks left, 15 days, 2 weeks and a day. All right, I guess that's all I have to say to you. So I'll see you next week. Bye.